I am doing okay. Today is not as hot, and sorry to hear you're getting bullied at Dungeons and Dragons. What class do you play? Also, how's my audio? When I played D&D way back, I was a paladin, and my college roommates were the ones I gamed with. I was in a party with like a thief and some other people. You deserve it. Okay. Well then, hope you get your comeuppance. Why do I go this way? Should be this. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Hello everyone, so this is going to be a solo Therion speedrun for Octopath Traveler. Octopath is an RPG with 8 characters in it, and you can choose any of the 8 to start with, and to clear the game you just have to clear it through your starting character's story, chapters 1 to 4. So I'll be playing through Therion, the thief character, today. You rotate between classes, but right now you're a divine, soul sorcerer, and a cleric. Sounds interesting. I don't know what a soul sorcerer is, but it sounds cool. I assume it's like animating the dead though. So we need this just for the first boss for a little bit of extra defense, and then also just makes him a little tankier for the walk to a sub job that we want to get. And then here the thief character is going to pick up soul stones for the first boss. And then we'll just go through some triggers. It's a slower grab, but thank you. Tiamat's the dragon, right? So over here, in order to progress the story, we'll just have to go to the bottom and steal a letter to get into a building that the thief character here, Therion, wants to rob. And we will steal that over here, but we'll also be buying a dagger for his first boss. It is the dragon. Okay, cool. I do remember that from watching the TV show a little bit. So Therion's starting town actually gives him 100% steal for pretty much every single item, but because it's a speedrun, we want to just grab the items that are like most useful, and we don't grab everything that we could possibly use. For example, the merchant next to that merchant I just stole from has a an earring that I could equip, but it just doesn't help a ton. Alright, and now we'll be entering the first dangerous area of the game, Ravis Manor. And this game has a combat system which is called boosting and breaking. And basically, enemies have set weaknesses that you can hit. And if you hit the weakness, you reduce the number of shields. You can see that this guy here has 1 shield. So I'll break him, and then he's in a broken state, which means he takes extra damage. And then he basically has no opportunity to act or attack me, but I also get guaranteed free fleas, so I'd like to do that in order to guarantee fleas. And then in addition to the breaking, there is the boosting, as I mentioned. Basically I use the boost points in the top right corner there, and I can boost an attack to do extra damage and such, up to 3 boost points worth. But for now we're just going straight to the first boss, and then we're going to after we defeat him, we will hopefully defeat the other bosses in chapters 2 and 3. It's unfortunate I got it right before the boss, but can't be helped. I'll just break and flee. You could just hit flee without breaking, and it's faster, but it's also not completely reliable, so it depends on the player how they want to play it. For a marathon, I would be breaking, of course, though. So, you saw me earlier steal some soul stones. I'm going to be throwing those here. Soul stones are like grenades or Molotovs in the Final Fantasy games, and it just deals a set amount of damage, which is nice for us at lower levels. I wouldn't be able to do 200 without boosting. Alright, my turn order here is a little unfortunate. I go after the ad, and that just means that Therion might take more hits, and it'll just be a little bit slower, but it's not too big a deal. I should still be pretty safe. And this should defeat the ad. And now 3 boosted fires should usually defeat this boss right here. So right now he can't be hit by physical attacks, but it doesn't really matter because elements don't miss in this game. And I get the range. This is technically a range, which just means that you can miss the damage rolls, because damage fluctuates between, I believe, 98% and 102%. So if you get low rolls, you can miss it by like 7 damage or so. Sorry, QT, what did you say was a lifesaver? And now that we're done, we will leave this town. In some normal Therion single story routes, you would steal the Nourish S from the lady at the entrance, which is just something that increases HP, but for solo Therion, we don't need that. It used to be in this route, but I routed it out because it just wasn't necessary. Okay, getting a double enemy is unfortunate. You just have to flee and hope that you get the flee, and I did, which is nice. I also got the encounter really early, so I'm just going to walk the rest of this. You could potentially just walk it and then just get one encounter, but I got it so early that I don't want to even bother taking that chance. Not missing with elemental. Yes, I agree. It's really nice. I don't honestly think that elemental and physical is fully balanced in this game, but that's just my opinion. I find the physical so much worse, so it's unfortunate. Okay, so here we will be going to a slightly higher level area to get a higher quality soulstone. The ones you saw earlier did 200 damage, but the next one I'll be getting does 1100 and 2700, which is quite nice. And I'll be walking about halfway through this bridge just to guarantee that I can reach the save point. Because if you run all the way, then you might get the encounter before this encounter, and you will wipe usually. And even if I wipe now, I saved, so it's fine. Okay, that's pretty ideal. That's like relatively fast. So normal Therion routes don't come to Quarry Crest here, but I actually am because this is going to be a marathon safe run. So I'm taking more safe strats, and this Wind M is nice for defeating a Kate, which I will explain in a bit. Sleepy boy, yes, takes dirt naps constantly. So over here is a stone that I'm going to grab, and it's just higher quality stone than what is than the other ones I grabbed. Those earlier ones were small stones, which did 200 each. This is a medium stone, which does 1100. And after leaving here, I'm gonna go to the mines that are near here as well, and grab another stone as well. So this is unnecessary. You could actually make it straight to the mines, but just to make it a little more consistent and safer, I will save. Sometimes you can get this fleet, but these enemies are like level 20-ish or something, like on average in terms of stats, and because of that you have a lower chance of fleeing. Enemies in this game don't technically have levels. There's recommended danger levels, and enemies reside in those, and then there's also stats where, like, you know, the higher level, the higher danger level, the stronger the enemy, stat wise. But yeah, alright, I'm gonna walk this so I can reach the save point guaranteed. If you run all the way, then you could get an encounter before the save point, and then I'd have to redo that, and I just don't want to redo that right now. So alright, that's unfortunate. We'll flee this one. Alright, it's fine. These guys are pretty strong, so they'll wipe me out fast. And this game is very generous with its save systems and such. It'll wipe me, but I'll just respawn really quickly. And most people have, you know, 1 or 2 wipes in their PB. It's not unnatural. And now that we have the large soul stone, the medium soul stone, and that conscious stone, we're good to go. And that conscious stone will come into play at the very end of the, well, in the chapter 3 and 4 battles. The bosses have an attack that inflicts unconscious, and that is not good because when you're unconscious you can't do anything and the boss just gets free hits on you, but that stone prevents it. So our next destination is the Scholar Shrine, and in this game there are sub-jobs, and there's 8 sub-jobs for the 8 starting characters, and then there's 4 hidden jobs. I will be getting one of the jobs that corresponds to basically the black mage character in the game. And these encounters are really weak, so I don't defeat them for EXP or JP, but later in the game there are stronger enemies and I will go after them for EXP and JP, because the solo route needs a little bit of EXP and JP. So to go back to what I was talking about in terms of the Kate that we want to go after, basically in this game there are special enemies which are similar to the metal slimes from Dragon Quest, if anyone knows that. And these Kate enemies look like cats, and they give an inordinate amount of experience and job points, which is really useful for the early game especially. It basically lets you kickstart the character in terms of like getting a few levels and such. And then with the job points we get from that cat, we will be spending it on the black mage's support skill, which will reduce random encounters like these. And that just speeds up the whole game and makes everything a lot more tolerable. So a minor benefit of having the Iron Helm is that we do take slightly less damage from these enemies, so it's less likely that I need to heal. Although it still can happen, but hopefully not. Yeah, definitely. If you didn't have evasive maneuvers, the game would be extremely different in terms of how we would speedrun it, and likely much slower and more safety strats and such. Basically, once you've learned 2 skills from a class, you get one of their support skills, and then for every single skill you learn afterwards, you gain another support skill. These fleas I've been getting are pretty good, in my opinion. So the reason why I got the M stone and the L stone is because this next map is actually modded. The community got together and made a Kate mod for that special rare enemy, because usually the enemy is a 3% encounter, but that players would grind for by resetting the game and replaying over and over until they get the encounter. But this Kate mod makes it guaranteed, which is this, and that's really nice. And this will give me a lot of EXP and JP. And just make it a little bit more pleasant to play. Then this next map is a map that you have to go through to get the Black Mage class, the Scholar class. Some players will walk this map to try to get to the shrine without encounters, but I got a large soulstone specifically just so I could defeat the encounter. It's kind of a waste of a soulstone because these enemies are really weak, but this way you don't have to keep attempting to flee over and over, and it could take a few tries, so it's just nicer to get it out of the way, especially if it's a marathon and you're trying to go more safely. So here we'll learn 2 skills to learn the support skill of the class. The skills we'll learn are a fire attack and a lightning attack, which we do use throughout a little bit, at least here and there. And there's basically 8 shrines like these scattered throughout, corresponding to the 8 starting characters. Octopath, you know, octo being 8. But we'll only be getting about 3 or so of these, just because the others are slower and aren't helpful enough. In the previous map that I was in, it was modded to have 100% chance of that rare enemy spawning, but the rules say that you can only defeat 1 in there, so that's why I only cleared 1. And this is the town of Therion chapter 2. So I'll start this, but I won't complete this right now because the recommended level is about like 20 or so, and Therion's about level 14. And even though it's recommended level 20, it's for casual players it's like recommended level 20 with a full party of 4. So doing it solo with while being under level is not a great idea unless you're well equipped and well prepared, which we are not yet right now. So you're gonna see the power of evasive maneuvers now. You see how I can go these large distances without getting an encounter, and that's really nice because the encounter resets after every single screen transition. It also auto saves as well, which is really nice if we do get an encounter. but it just means that I can get a lot of these rare items in these endgame level areas. This area I'm in right now is actually the highest area in the entire game, level 58. Nothing is higher than that. Alright, and there I got a dagger and a soulstone and some money. And now I will be going to get the dancer class. Didn't know that. What didn't you know? Sorry, I didn't catch that. So here I'll be going to the dancer shrine and picking up dancer, and that is a necessary class for this to make it a lot smoother to fight through the final boss. The final boss is still difficult even with that sub job, but every little bit helps here and there. That is the highest level area. I see, yes. That area, the Forest of Purgation, level 58, is the highest level area, and afterwards it's like a level 55 area, I think, which is the Everhold Tunnels. Technically, in the game's data, there's a level 65 area, which is the Gate of Finis, but that number is never actually shown. It's only in the internal data, and then there's nothing higher, to my knowledge. Well, actually, yeah, there's definitely not anything higher, because that's the hardest area in the game. So I'm talking about an endgame area that is considered the final boss and such, but for the purposes of this speedrun that I'm doing right now, I will only be going to the Therion's Chapter 4, which isn't like everything in the game, but like it's a good chunk of it to showcase it and such. So right now, you saw me earlier tag and start Chapter 2 in Noble Court. I'm going to be going to Wellspring very soon, which is Therion's Chapter 3. So here I will go to the Dancer Shrine, get the Dancer job, and then I will go to his Chapter 3 town. And evasive maneuvers is really useful, especially for these maps, because if I got an encounter in this area, which is about like level 30s-ish, I would probably wipe. You can still get an encounter, but it's a lot lower with evasive maneuvers, which is really nice. Quite a few RPG speedruns tend to do something similar, where they will gun for a skill that reduces random encounters. For example, in Pokemon, a lot of runners will buy repels and such to ward off encounters, and it's not too different here. Okay, so let's see. I will be going to Wellspring here, and before tagging Wellspring, we'll do a screen transition, which just means that I'm going to exit the map and then come back into the map, and that just reduces the encounters back to 0. You can technically reach from Dancer to the Wellspring town without doing this screen transition, but it's very unsafe, and this just makes it a lot more consistent. And for a lot of speedruns, we value that consistency quite a bit. Just makes things a lot smoother to run and such, because every single risk that you take, it just adds up over time. So you want to minimize the risks as much as possible within reason. Like you won't grind a lot in this, but if you can avoid encounters and guarantee it, sometimes it's worth it. And we will also fast travel back. That's, I suppose, something that has been obvious with what I've been doing. I fast travel to Quarry Crest and fast travel to here. So every single town we tag is just another place that we can fast travel to. Okay, so in this map there is a Thunder Soulstone on the left side, and in a normal run I would usually just try and go for it, and if I don't get it, like it's not that big a deal, but I'm not going to get it for this for a more marathon safe run. But basically that large soulstone also does 2700 like the one you saw earlier, and I'll just avoid it so that it's a little safer. I guarantee a pass through. Okay, we're coming up on the first glitch of the game. So in this game right now I'm running no major glitches, which basically just means that I won't be using significant glitches. There are some more major ones in Octopath, which include duping characters and basically getting free teleports to towns that you haven't tagged yet and such. But here I'll be doing the buffer glitch, which just means holding the Windows bar and then walking past boss prompts like that, and it just lets me access that spear more easily and more freely. I'll be getting this revitalizing gem here, and that is a full HP, SP, BP restorative. It's the best healing item in the entire game. And every one of those that we can get is huge and extremely helpful. Alright, I saved on the way in and on the way out because there is an encounter chance, and that way if I did get the encounter I could just spawn right at the save point. It's slower to save, but it's safer, so I do it. Possibly runners on better pace would avoid it, but and it is low chance, but still. Here we're gonna buy some grapes, which are just the healing items in the game for HP and SP, and that's just for grinding and also for the final boss. Okay, so we will be getting gear soon. Here. So in this game, there's not actually that many chests with armor lying around and such. Those 3 chests had 2 armor pieces in it, and there's not a ton of those that are like decent quality lying around. So getting that was quite nice. And after getting that armor, our next stop is to get a decent weapon. And the weapon that I'm going to aim for is one of the strongest staffs in the game, which is the knowledge staff. In the full game category of this game, it's called Galdera, and it uses the knowledge staff quite a bit. But for us, we'll just use it for a little bit for grinding here and there, mainly. But it's a very good staff, and I think like 3rd or 4th strongest or so. But yeah. Okay, this is unfortunate. Sometimes you can skip that, but sometimes you can't, so it's fine though. I will get the stone on the next map to replace it. I just used a light L, and I'm gonna be picking up another light L anyway. And I don't need any stones per se, but every one that I can use on a good encounter is nice. That wasn't a good encounter though. In terms of EXP JP, it's not the greatest, but it is what it is. Alright, so Everhold Tunnels. This is the 2nd highest danger level in the game. And we'll be looting 3 or 4 items in this. So earlier you saw me use the buffer glitch, and I could use it here, but I don't need to. But something else that these boss prompts do is that it resets the encounter rate, which is really nice. Basically, every time you go into this boss prompt, it resets the encounter chance to 0. And then I can move some more. So you'll see me touching that a few times, saying no to fighting the boss, and then running to loot something else, and it just makes looting this place a lot safer. Okay, gotta put on the Viper dagger here. Okay, I'm just trying to focus on my movement because some bad movement could get you wipe you on some screens. Although getting the staff and the death cleaver there was safe. But anyways, I've gotten. Actually, let me. I have SP, good. I don't want Zazu to roast my movement either. Yes, I don't. There's a speedrunner in our community who's been doing movement guides, so if anyone watching this is interested in getting into Octopath speedrunning, I recommend Zazu and his movement guides for Octopath Traveler speedrunning. And a small joke is that he will make fun of your movement. But great videos, highly recommended. Okay, so here I put on the Viper Dagger, which is a very powerful dagger that I looted in the catacombs, and I also put on the Knowledge Staff, which will allow me to defeat random encounters a little more easily with more powerful spells and such. And the first usage of that is coming up. I'm not guaranteed to defeat this encounter, but I would like to if possible. Basically on this map there are pirates, and they're weak to fire, so I'll be casting 2 fire spells to try and defeat them. The issue is that I can break 2 out of the 3 pirate enemies, but the 3rd one has a chance to confuse you and or even just hit you really hard for damage. and if you get confused, you usually will wipe. But we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I'm not caught by surprise. Okay. So I'll break 2. And going first on the next turn is nice. I just hope I don't see confused. Alright, I'm good. Something else too is that because I have the Viper Dagger, I am more likely to go first. Viper Dagger gives you a speed bonus. Okay, I will plumb. Oh wait, I leveled up. Huh. Usually sometimes you don't always level up there, so because I did level up, I don't have to plumb, and I wanted to restore my SP because I will be going into another battle relatively soon. How this solo speedrun is kind of structured is that I try to do some grinding along the way to minimize the grinding I have to do later, because there is like a bulk session of grinding I have to do for about 10 minutes. Alright. Alright. Still snow. So you saw me just get merchant there. Merchant. Oh, also something else you saw is I saved there. If you save the game and you quit the game and then you re-enter the game, that also resets the encounter rate. And on that map, most runners will usually just reset the game so that they can reduce the encounter chance to 0. But because we want some EXP and JP in a solo, we don't do that here. But anyways, the next stop we want to go to is Therion's Chapter 4 town, which is Northreach. And so far I've tagged the Chapter 2 town, Noble Court, the Chapter 3 town, Wellspring, and this is the final stop on Therion's journey, his Chapter 4 town. We can't really start Chapter 3 or 4 yet, obviously because we haven't done Chapter 2, but it'll make it faster later on when we want to return for the final battle and such. Alright, and here I will force an encounter. Oh, actually I just got it, so that's fine. This one is fire. Alright, I was caught by surprise, which is unfortunate. So depending on the enemy, I use fire or lightning. If there's an ice squirrel in the mix, you use lightning because you can, because the squirrel can. Ooh, this is really, really dangerous. That's unfortunate. I was hoping to defeat that thing. Oh well. Because it caught me by surprise and everyone kind of hit me really hard, I couldn't defeat him. But that's fine. And it was quite close there too, unfortunately. But basically, if there's an ice squirrel in the pack, you want to use lightning blast here because the ice squirrel can cast silence, but lightning blast will break them, and then they won't be able to silence you. But if there is the lizards that you saw there, you want to use Firestorm because then that'll break them and they won't get hits or actions in on you. And anything else, we always this is ice squirrel, so lightning blast here. Although I was caught by surprise again, so that's really unfortunate. Okay, well he silenced me anyway, so I'm just gonna toss a stone here. Oh wow, actually that thing's a lot stronger than I expected. Okay, that squirrel using silence is unfortunate, but can't be helped. This is a level 20 area, and we're still only level 15, so yak attacked, indeed. So we're still a few levels below the recommended danger level. So the lower you are, the higher the chance of getting caught by surprise, and that's never good because then you can wipe and such. So I'll try one more time, and if I don't, I'm just gonna move on. Okay, so this is better. Hopefully I'm not caught by surprise. Alright, well, that's unfortunate. That especially is not good, because their attacks are going to be a lot stronger now. I'm actually going to heal here. Okay, so you saw me change to merchant there and learn 2 skills and put on an support skill. The support skill I put on is called Endless Items, and it gives me a 25% chance of duping my items. Wait, attacks are stronger if you are caught by surprise. No, I'm sorry if I implied that. Attacks are not stronger if I'm caught by surprise. I just meant that the enemies got more attacks in on me. So these enemies have really high evasion, but hired help is a money attack, and the enemies the people that you can summon with hired help have higher stats than normal, so they almost never miss. Okay, so here I will get a Shadow Stone. I don't always get this, but basically if I get past like the top leftmost torch, I am highly likely to get through this map with only one encounter, so I go for that. Okay, and I'll be stealing a necklace here and then putting it on immediately. Unfortunately, the chance is 3%, so I'll usually take a few minutes to get this. And Therion is a thief, and every character in this game has a path action. And Therion's path action is to steal, as is appropriate for being a thief. Other characters have better path actions where you can't fail the path action, but in exchange, Therion can get some nice powerful items for free if he can get the steal. And this is one of the worst steals in the game, in this speedrun, because it's 3%, so theoretically you would take 33 tries to get it. It's just kind of tedious. A little unfortunate, but if this was a marathon, this would be like a good time for donations or something. The moment I get it, I'm going to put it on and I'm going to go back down. But as I was saying, hired help is a money attack, and the people we pay are a lot higher stat wise and almost never miss. But those lizards have very high evasion. So glad that there's 2 of these in the run. I wish there wasn't 2 of these. Technically, the usual Therion single story route only has one 3%, which is the chapter 4 one. But this solo route has this extra one here. You don't technically need to get this. There is another way where you can get the HP necessary to tank the boss, but it's slower than just getting lucky with this. The first time I routed solo Therion, I was getting a bunch of HP nuts that were scattered around the map. But it's not as good. It's a good thing everyone in town is gullible. You could steal from them 50 times, but if they hear good things from the tavern keeper, they will trust you immediately. So, just gotta keep going. But yeah, every single steal is unfortunate because it can potentially waste a lot of time. So ideally you want to minimize the number of steals. Also, welcome Blind Eye. Sorry, I had been not paying attention to a new person. I am. Oh. I don't know if I will have a safety save for the steals. I think I will not, but I'll probably double check with the marathon runners. Unless I get egregiously bad luck, I already inflated my estimate to include the chance of really low steals, of really long steals. So hopefully it's not necessary, but I'll probably have backup saves just in case anyway. Hello, how's it going? So I come back out here, and you saw that I saved. That's because you could get caught by surprise and hit by these lizards. They do about 600 to 800 each. So you want to make sure to throw an L stone here, by the way. If you throw an M stone, you can really get take a lot of damage from these guys. They do about 600 to 800 depending on the attack that they do, and if they use scratch or they crit, it could be upwards of 1,000. So by healing there's a higher chance that you will survive. Okay, so usually here I would go straight to Tomb of Kings to do a little bit of early game grinding, but I'm actually going to go to one second. So first we'll usually do chapter 2 and then hold on. Okay. Actually, maybe I should. Yeah, actually, I think I will just go for Tomb of Kings. So basically, we're gonna do part of chapter 2 now, but before we finish chapter 2, we'll go and do some grinding, and then come back and finish chapter 2. It's unfortunate. So Therion's whole story is that he's going after these things called the Dragon Stones, and he stops by each of the towns to get them, and most of the towns usually will have him run some errands or get some information by stealing what is necessary from the townspeople. So right now in Therion's story, he's going to be doing those steals that he needs to do. And after this, we'll be teleporting out. Basically, the Wyvern scale that I have to steal next is all the way on the right side of the right screen. So by teleporting out and teleporting back in, it's just a bit closer, a little more convenient. And I'll also be higher level once I return, so. Okay, let's see. Adam Hat and... Alright, I'll be going to Scholar now, and we'll begin our grind. So the equipment I just put on are basically when you change into a job and change away and then change back, sometimes they'll equip or unequip items and such. And the knowledge staff that I had equipped earlier had been taken off when I switched to merchant. But now that I switched back to scholar, I have to have a staff to do strong elemental attacks with. So I put on the staff, In addition to that, I put on the hat that I got in the Maw of the Ice Dragon, and that is a very, very powerful elemental attack hat, so it'll help with this grind that's coming up. And for this grind, I want 1418 JP, and I could use every single stone if necessary. Every single soul stone to help with this grind if I need, basically. Alright. I take off evasive maneuvers here to increase the chance of encounter, so that goes a little faster. Alright, 44 is good because I can cast 2 spells. That should defeat just about anything, and then if I run out of SP I can toss a stone or so. Hopefully these are wind. I want wind enemies, although I think this is, yeah, this is light. Okay, something else that is nice about the hat I got is that it's very, very bulky. It's one of the strongest hats in the entire game, possibly the strongest. Alright, leveling up is nice. So we choose to grind here in Tomb of Kings for our levels because there's some items that are pretty deep in. And in addition to that, Tomb of Kings has a 6% chance of spawning Kates. Okay, this is a wind encounter, I believe. Yeah, thought so. And that 6% chance of spawning those rare enemies for bonus EXP JP is quite nice, and is the highest percentage chance in the entire game. Alright, that back enemy, the Remnant, has a chance of dropping a Thunder Soulstone M, and if you can get a drop from that, that is quite nice. Oh, it could help, you know, in some situations. So, but if you don't, it's also fine. Okay, here, let's see. Alright, that's unfortunate, being caught by surprise. I will probably just toss a stone here to break them. And I'm just level 20. I have some spare time in this before I can get my levels because I haven't gotten very good encounters. So I think I will probably go for a steal. The guy at the very top of this tomb has a light soulstone L, and I don't always go for. Actually, I think I won't go for it. I'll just run towards the exit. I think that's probably fine. Yeah, I'll just. I think I won't go for it here. Okay. So I need a few more encounters, but hopefully I'll get it soon. Alright, getting these remnants is not great. You do want to see lightning enemies because it's easy to defeat them, but getting that remnant is just less EXP and JP than the sentinel groups. And you want to see the sentinel groups. Sentinels are like those group of 5s that you saw earlier. And the best is the wind sentinel group, but okay, this is better. $1418 JP is what I want. 1142. Alright. And I leveled up so I don't have to use any. I could get the hasty helm here for a little bit of extra money, I guess. Although, I guess it's not necessary. Basically, in this place, there are more items than what I pick up. As an example, there is a hasty helmet here that can increase speed, and it sells for just a tiny bit of money, but I think I won't bother getting it. And I'll just grind near that entrance. Ideally, you get better encounters than this, and then you can defeat this grind a lot quicker, but I've been getting a little unlucky, but I won't. So something else is, when you deal more damage to these enemies, because they're on more critical HP, they use more magic attacks. So that technically is slower, but it's fine. It's not that big a deal in terms of time loss. Alright, I should be fine with one more encounter. Ideally, hopefully. I'll probably just throw a stone for the last one, no matter what it is. Although, I could also just toss a stone for the... Alright, well... Unfortunate. I still have a fire L. Alright, that's good enough. I don't move off of Scholar yet because I do take one more encounter. When I enter Orlick's Manse, which is the chapter 2 dungeon, I will take one final encounter, and that will complete the mandatory JP I need. So basically, after I do that grinding, I will loot this final dungeon nearby, the Runeblade Shrine, which has a 50k chest, which is amongst the largest in the game. There's only 3 50k chests in the entire game, and the other 2 are in chapter 4 locations. So here you see me save and quit right at the entrance. That's because I want that tiny bit of extra distance. I'm going to try to loot 2 chests in this, which is a 50k chest and another revitalizing gem, which is the restorative I mentioned earlier. And there's a very high chance of encounter if I try to go without saving and quitting, so I do that. Alright, and now we finished chapter 2, and we will be going into the chapter 2 dungeon. And as a reminder, I do have to take one battle in there, but should be fine. Steel SP Merchant. And this is the final steal we need to do for his chapter 2. So it's a lot of these small errands, which is unfortunate, but can't be helped. Okay. Fortunately, we can skip cutscenes, so we'll just be moving past all of these. And now we have unlocked the path to the dungeon for this chapter. So we'll be going to do that. I'm trying to think if I need any extra money, but it should still be fine. So I will be forcing an encounter before the final boss. Before the final boss of this dungeon. So you can technically get to the boss without any encounters, but there's a reasonably high chance of just getting one anyway. So forcing it here makes sense for just being a little bit more efficient with your EXP JP. And I can take anything in here, and that's totally fine. So alright, and getting it here is fine. I think fire here is ideal. Yeah, okay. You see, they're very, very weak. Okay. Let's see. This should not be necessary to save at all, but I'll do it since marathon safety and such. I have also messed up this boss, although it should be free and guaranteed as if you're not careless. So basically, Orlick, the boss here, starts with 2 ads. We start with hired help veterans right off the bat, which is the most expensive money attack in the entire game. It spends 30,000, but does a lot of damage. And our next goal is to break the boss, build up some BP, and then use another fully boosted hired help veterans to defeat him. I need to do 2 defends here in total. He boosted his attacks and such, so that was 1 defend. I was hoping that he would do magic missile on that previous turn, but it's fine. Okay, here I will defend this next turn. So if you can get a poison tick with the Viper Dagger that you have equipped, then you can skip doing those defends, but if not, then you have to do 2 defends to build up the BP to defeat this guy. And it's very, very important that you absolutely defeat him when he is broken, because if you do not, then he will summon his constructs, which is a lot of HP. Even 4 fully boosted hired help veterans will not defeat that summoned golem, and he does that when he's on critical HP, so it's important to just finish him in 1 shot. Thank you, QT, for the good job. Hope the stream is somewhat enjoyable. Okay, so here, basically Therion wants to buy information from this beggar, I believe, and the guy is a drunkard, wants wine, so we, being the good Samaritan we are, will steal it from him. And then we go to the tavern for more information. And a running thing in this game is that when you're in doubt, go to the tavern. Alright, and now we will be going to the area to the south. Wait a second, do I even... well, it's fine. Technically I don't have to job to Scholar here, because I have a spare Fire L that I could throw at the Chapter 3 encounter, but because I have that Fire L anyway, I will save that in case I get a battle going to the Hollow Throne for a backup Revitalizing Gem. And because of that I want to job to Scholar, because there is a minor battle coming up. Very minor battle. Okay. So basically we went to a black market there and we learned that the Dragonstone that Therion wants to steal is held there, but we need a special item to get into there. So we went to this Tavern Keeper to steal the item that we needed. And now that we've stolen it, we can get into this place, which is this Chapter 3 dungeon. And this whole chapter goes quite a bit faster than Chapter 2, because there's not as much back and forth stealing and such. But we will be coming up on a battle very soon. So this is a battle against basically 3 minions, and they're very, very weak. 1 lightning blast at a 2x boost is a range to defeat them. This is a range. Okay, I did not get the range unfortunately, but it's fine. A fireball will defeat them. They're very, very low on health. I think they usually live with like say 30 or 40 or something or so, but whatever, it's fine. Okay, but these are just the minions. The true Chapter 3 boss is coming right up, and he's called Gareth, and he's fairly powerful. He has 2 strong ads with him, who will do a lot of damage, and then Gareth himself also is extremely powerful. He hits harder than most Chapter 3 bosses. Trying to think if he hits harder than all of them. I can't remember offhand, but we'll be learning Hang Tough for this battle. Oh, I didn't need to heal SP, whatever. Okay, so Gareth. I put on Hang Tough there, which just means that if you're at 30% HP or higher, you're guaranteed to survive any hit with 1 HP at the very least. And we want to basically use Hired Help Mercs here, which boosts our defense and also takes off one of Gareth's shields. So it's very useful. And then we want to use Veterans right away on these 2 ads to defeat them. And bring Gareth to 1 HP there. So this is very critical. It depends on the turn order here and what Gareth does. I want to see if okay, so here I'm just hoping that I survive, and I use Revitalizing Jam to heal my HP. Alright, so now I'm safe because I have Hang Tough. I'm guaranteed to live with 1 HP. Alright. And Gareth is an evasion boss, and there's only 2 evasion bosses in the entire game. There's this guy, and there is a tiger beast in the Galdera route that you have to defeat. But the thing with these evasion bosses is that Hired Help has extremely high accuracy, so you're very likely to hit. And then in addition to that, magic will never miss them too if you want to use that. So evasion doesn't usually matter, which is quite nice. And if they're broken too, you never miss. Wow, if Gareth moved before Therion after killing that, do you just die? There's a chance he uses Evasive Breath, and he spams that quite a bit. So you're actually reasonably likely to survive. And also, hello Jalix. How's it going? Wait, I keep doing that. You're supposed to steal this one. Okay. Going great. Glad to hear that. Okay, so here, this is a Chapter 4 minions boss, and we just throw 2 veterans at him. Because these guys are relatively tanky. If you use a Light L and a Thunder L, it will defeat these, but it's a little dicey because they do hit relatively hard, and then preserving a Light L and a Thunder L can be a little bit slow. I'll menu here. I have a spare Fire L, so for marathon safety, I'm gonna go pick up another Revitalizing Jam in a dungeon, and there's a chance I could get an encounter, and if I get the encounter, I'm gonna throw that Fire L I have. If I don't get the encounter, that's even better. So here I should not need this Ice L, so I will not get it this time. Sometimes there's this Ice M chest right next to me that I get, but I will not bother with it this time. And I'll be getting a whole bunch of marathon safety items, basically. To guarantee, well, not guarantee, but to make the Chapter 4 boss a lot more likely. So basically there's this dungeon called the Hollow Throne, which is pretty much never visited in any of the single stories, but many of the solo stories come here. Alright, not getting the encounter is very nice. Many of the solo stories come here because it has a Palm L and a Revitalizing Gem, and these BP restoring items, which give 4 BP and max BP respectively, give a lot more mileage in a solo. Alright, and after this I'm gonna go to the Marcelum area and steal 2 more palms. Alright, 55%, so you're reasonably likely to miss some of these. I don't absolutely need this, but getting this would be nice. If I fail, then I'm just gonna leave the town. I'm just unlucky, that's fine. Just checking my items. I feel like I'm a little poorer than usual, but it's fine. Wow, that was pretty unlucky, but alright. Okay, I have about 6,000 to spend. So I'll save here. And if I go down to... Wow, this is a 55%, not the 3%. Alright, now we do the 3%. And this is one of the slower parts of the game, which is unfortunate. So ideally I get this within like a few tries. If not, I can just reset the game because I did a safety save to get a little more money. I think it's because earlier in the game when I was doing the necklace steal, I took quite a few tries at that. Males and rogues also suffer, yes. In this game, basically any category that Therion's in that is not a full game category has to go through this process where he has to do the 3% steals. Anything that where his story is required. So I set the marathon estimate to 1 hour and 25 minutes, and it's mainly because of this and the other steal. Darius usually takes me about 10 minutes to get through an attempt, but if I wipe to it, it might take me a few more minutes. So ideally, I can get this within 10 minutes, hopefully, to have a little bit of buffer going to Darius, but we'll see. And Darius is the 4th and final boss in Therion's story. Okay, if I don't get it here, I reset. I'm trying to think if there was anything else I had to sell. I didn't. Unlucky. Technically, there's some small items around the town that I could pick up and sell too, but alright, well that's nice. Get that a little faster. I wonder, I think that there's an ice amulet here that I could also sell. Sure, why not? How much do these sell for? That's like nothing. That's like nothing. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, that's not very useful, but alright, whatever. This is pretty slow, but just have more attempts at stealing before resetting. Interesting, so if you reset the game, the doors close. Because I opened the door before I saved. I didn't know that. Very minor, but anyways. All chapter 4's story is basically Therion wants to get into the thieves' den, and he needs this thief's garb to infiltrate, and it can only be stolen from this guy. And your steal chances scale with your level, and in a speedrun you want to be as low level as possible to make it, you know, a little smoother. So that's why we have these low steal chances. I think even at like level 39 or 35 or something, it's still like only 8% or so. So doesn't help a ton. Pretty much. Just bribes everyone. I don't know how many attempts this has been, but feels pretty unlucky to me. Let's see, it was 8k and then about 3k and then 5 each, so 11 to 55 maybe. Close to 60 attempts now, I think, or something. It's hard to keep track. You've learned a distribution in stat class that tells me the average number it takes to get some given probability. Can't remember. Yeah, that sure, it could probably be calculated somehow. It's ironic, the very last time I ran this, I got this on the very first try, ironically. Alright, I'm down to 120k, and you do need 120k for the final boss, so if this fails, I'm gonna reset the game again. And also, this game is not like deterministic or anything, so it's not like it saves my like chances of failure and success or whatever. Right, because I started it the part way. So this tavern actually has quite a few useful items and such in the full game category of this game. Got there, you get the sword in there and a nut in there, which is quite nice. Alright. So now you see Therion in his thief garb. Um, so if anyone's watching and plays this casually, you can actually take this thief garb out of the town. Oh, you saw the camera just jump there. Basically, if you use the buffer glitch I showed earlier, you can take the thief garb out of town and take Therion to other areas and such. Just a fun way to get a slightly different sprite. But anyways, this is final dungeon for Therion story, and then we will clear the game. And the final boss. Okay, Darius has multiple actions per turn, but most of his attacks are physical, and we have an ability called Sidestep, which allows us to negate physical attacks. And we'll just be spamming that along with the pomegranate items, like the one I just picked up. The large pomegranates give 4 BP, and the medium ones give 2, and then the rev gems give 5. So all those together will allow Therion to get a lot of BP and use a lot of sidesteps to negate the boss's physical attacks. In addition to that, we will also be using Grape M's and Jams to heal strategically for this boss. And our gear is set up to tank 2 attacks from him, no matter what, starting out. And then, in addition to that, oh, I did not heal my HP or SP. Ah well. Yeah. That should still be fine, but it's fine. Alright, so I have Eye for an Eye, and I want that to proc, and it basically means I get a physical retaliation, and I did not proc here, which is really unfortunate, but I can still get lucky though. I need him to proc Eye for an Eye here. Here, and I did not get lucky again. Okay, so try one more time. He'll do 2 attacks, and I need some sort of proc. Alright, well, this is a loss. He's gonna do fire and an attack. Well, an attack and fire, but doesn't matter. Basically, my Eye for an Eye is a 50% chance of proccing. So, thank you, KT. I will try to go fast. I don't often do this, but incidental attack does increase your winning patterns very, very slightly. So basically, Eye for an Eye is an ability that procs and gives you a retaliation at a 50% chance, and it'll just do a dagger attack on Darius if it procs, and that will allow me to reduce his shields. And I still did not get it to proc. I also have Hang Tough, which lets me heal with 1 HP. Okay, it procced here, which is ideal. Okay, and this is a lot smoother now. Last time it didn't proc at all with like a few hits, so that was a loss. And you want to break him immediately because he locked your items if you saw at the start. And you want to get your items back ASAP because you need pomegranate items to heal and to set up sidesteps efficiently. Okay, here I will use a refreshing gem to full heal my HP and SP. And that dupe is actually not terrible. It's decent. Basically, we want to heal our HP and SP because even though we can dodge physical attacks, he does do some fire hits that do a significant chunk of damage. And by healing that, we can kind of prevent the surprise wipes. Alright, next turn I'm going to use a Palm M because using a Palm L is slightly inefficient. This is okay, I think. Okay, here I'm actually going to Rev Jam because of the turn order. And now, alright, getting that endless item proc means that I can reuse the items again, which is quite nice. And I'm just kind of stalling while setting up sidesteps. And letting Eye for an Eye trigger, like this one, to reduce the shield slightly. And every one of these procs is quite nice. Yeah. That proc was not necessary, but it's fine. Very soon he's gonna lock my items again, which is a little unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, this is relatively nice, I suppose. I would like a little more BP, but I can get it with this. I'm gonna use 4 veterans here to deal some damage to him. And the whole point of fighting Darius is to bring him very, very close to half damage, to half HP, then break him very, very quickly in sequence. Alright, he should be locking items very, very soon, which just means that I can't use items, but that's not too bad. I have Steel SP, which is 2 hits of damage. Alright, I'm gonna Rev Jam here. Alright, getting another Endless Item proc there is quite nice. Alright, this is what I was talking about. So when he locks your items, you can't use BP items anymore, so you're kind of on a timer. But fortunately, I can break him very soon. So let's see. 3, 2. Let's see. 2, 3. That's pretty nice. That attack can miss, but you're not likely to miss both of them, so I was willing to take that chance. 29, 29, 12%, 18%, 29, 30, 80, 18, 27, 47%? This should be right, I think. He should be at 47%. Yeah, that's correct. So, what I'm doing here is purposely leaving him a little bit below half damage. Alright, let's see his HP. It should be 47% if I'm correct, but yeah, okay. There we go. 47%. And then he locked. Okay, so basically how this works is I'm going to try to bring him below 50% HP and then break him pretty much immediately after that. And then that causes a glitch where he will loop his AI over and over. But you need specific turn order for this, so it's a little bit tricky. And you also don't want him to lock your items. If he does, it can be kind of bad. Okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, this turn order wouldn't have worked anyway. So you have to wait for a turn where Therion is gonna go in the middle. Alright, do I have any more Rev Gems? I should have a Rev Gem because I duped it. Oh my god, I duped another one. Okay, well, that's really lucky. Alright, I really need Therion to go in the middle of the turn. That's the key thing that needs to happen. This is a little unfortunate. I'm gonna tap the sword here. Let me think for a second. 2 to break, and then 3. I really need him to go in the middle. Okay, this works. 1, 2, and I have Hang Tough. Okay. Okay, here this will bring him below 55%, which is his half HP, and that triggers his sweep and battle cry to 3 actions. But if you break him right now, alright, just making sure, and you gotta tab back. You absolutely have to tab back. If you break him here, he basically just loops his AI now, and he's glitched. And you are pretty much guaranteed to win. He'll come back with 1 sleep, and now he'll just repeat sleeping over and over and over. This is not normal. That's basically a glitch. He's supposed to enter his battle cry after half HP, and that makes him have 3 actions per turn instead of 2. But by breaking him specifically on that turn order, you can avoid this. You can avoid his 3 action phase completely, and then it actually slows him down because he spends 1 turn every turn switching his shields around. It doesn't really matter to us though, the switch shields, because his dagger will always stay. And we have so many pomegranates. We have them to last like the whole battle, so we're guaranteed a win. Might be a little slow, but it's fine. And I'm just setting up a lot of side steps to be safe, but yeah. Alright, so I set up Armor Corrosive here. Also, I guess I didn't mention about Armor Corrosive. Armor Corrosive gives a 1.5x damage multiplier, and it makes all my attacks hit a lot harder. I don't usually boost this, but just to have slightly higher chance. It's already 84% with what that showed, but alright. And now I just have to break him and do another vets, and I will win. And you saw me collect him. Collect is the merchant ability to get money. Hopefully this will break him. If not, it's fine. I'll break him next turn, and then should be a win. And this should finish him. Well, okay. Well, that's unusual. I guess he should have a little bit of HP left over, but I guess I'll just stab him with my dagger a few times. He can't have that much HP left, though. Maybe I'll boost. Alright. Alright, well there you go. He was very close to the end. Usually the finishing vets will finish him off, but I guess he had just a tiny bit left over, like 1,000 or something. Thank you for the GGs. And that is solo Therion speedrun. Okay. Did you too find it enjoyable to watch or interesting, I guess? Hope it was somewhat interesting. Thank you, QT. I was thinking if there was any Octopath speedrunners to raid, but I don't see any. Anyone to host? None. It's unfortunate. Oh, Blind Eye, thank you. Glad you enjoyed it as well. Yes, that's correct, QT. Next week, Friday, 7 PM. You learned so much? I'm glad to hear that. Solo Therion is probably amongst my favorite of the solo speedruns. I think it's quite enjoyable. Everything is pretty consistent. The only thing I don't like is Darius is a little... I mean, no, the 3% steal is a little unfortunate. Like the fact that I have to do 2 of them. But aside from that, I think that everything else in this route is actually pretty consistent. You know, chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 3, you're actually reasonably likely to get past it, which is quite nice. There's some bosses that are just an RNG gauntlet where you have to just attempt them over and over, but Viper Dagger lets Therion go early, and then the boss spams evade boost a lot. So, and then a lot of the grinding is done on the way, which is quite nice too, which is cool. I'm trying to think about this run in general. So I guess I can go over how the run went and my thoughts. Beginning chapter 1 was okay. I did get an encounter just before Heathcote, which is a little unfortunate. If I had walked the end of that, I think I wouldn't have gotten the encounter, but you can't always guarantee that, so it's not that big a deal. I was able to break and flee, and they didn't catch me by surprise, I think. And then stealing the stone, getting the M stone and the L stone was reasonably quick. The L stone I got is not mandatory technically, because you could, or like the M stone that is not mandatory, but it is nicer for a marathon, I think, to not have to try that Scholar Shrine encounter over and over to flee. And then the walk to Scholar Shrine was quite nice too, because I got a lot of first turn flees, which made it pretty fast. And then I think the rest, in terms of like looting Marcelim and Everhold tunnels, went reasonably well. In my last 2 runs, I actually messed up the equipment in the first, or like the plums. In the first run I did, when I rerouted this, I forgot to plumb up, so I was out of SP, I think. And the second one, I forgot to put on the necklace. And this time I didn't forget either of those, so that's nice. And then one thing that was unfortunate was the Steel Snow. I wiped 2 times, I believe, to encounters there, and I was caught by surprise all 3 times, which is really bad and pretty unlucky. But then the lizards didn't catch me by surprise, I think, which is good. And we also had the necklace the second time through, so even if they caught me by surprise, then there's a high chance that you would have survived. Let's see what else. The grind in Tomb of Kings was a little bit slow, and I had to take about 2 extra encounters, I think, or 3 near the entrance. I think that's partly because I took evasive maneuvers off slightly late. You're supposed to take it off like just after you enter or just before you enter, but I took it off just after entering, after running for a bit, so that wasted some time. But it's not too big a deal. Then I got a chapter 2 encounter, which was fine. I was getting a backup item in Hollow Throne later, but that was fine because I didn't get the encounter along the way. I didn't get the chapter 3 encounter. First try Gareth is nice, of course. Let's see, what else? Orlick was a little slow. Poison did not proc, I believe. Alright, so Viper Dagger is either 5% or 10% chance to proc poison. If you can get a poison proc, at least even just one poison proc will save 1 turn. And if you can get 4 poison procs, which has never happened to me, then you can save 2 turns. But it's fine. The Atom Hat we have, it makes us very bulky, so we don't have to heal anymore for that battle. Then I got Hang Tough before Gareth, which I didn't actually need, but was nice. Veterans at chapter 4 was fine. And then, the Steals at chapter 4 was very, very, very slow. I think I took over 60 attempts. I didn't really count though. But I guess this is nice for knowing that even if I get really bad luck in the marathon, I should reasonably come with an estimate, or not too far over, hopefully. And then having a lot of BP items like I did made this a lot safer. Second try Darius is below average, unfortunately. I usually get him first try because this route is extremely safe, but can't be helped. And then I have a lot of excess BP items, so if I do that in Marathon, I think I should be relatively safe. What else? I think that was it. Would love to see some people there. Yes, if anyone is free next week, around the same time, a few hours earlier, but we'll be running for the marathon there for No Kid Hungry. If anyone wants to join, no worries if no one wants to show up too, that's totally cool too. We'll try my best to put on a good representation of our community. Oh, and also, I guess if anyone's watching this and is interested in doing a solo speedrun, the solo Therion speedrun I think is actually quite nice. Chapters 2, 3 are, you know, completely scripted and very, very safe. There's not a ton of extra grinding. There's not much at all. And then Darius can be a little bit tricky to learn, but once you do, I think it's a rewarding fight to get through. And it's fun to get the AI loop glitch. And you have a lot of BP items, so you can technically stall. Like, for example, I was at 48% collect. I could have broken him and then set up more BP and more sidesteps, and then try it again when he's closer to like 53%, 52%. And that is why we do it at 48% specifically, because if he's at like 54% and you can't get the loop off in time and he hits 55%, then you're kind of screwed. But if he's at 48%, then you have a lot of excess time to still re-break him and then set up again and then chip him down in shield and then try again. So that's why we do it around 48%, and that's why we also use veterans to bring him above half. Like, it seems very excessive when we could just use stones in theory, but stones make it a lot tighter of a window to hit. If anyone's curious why that is done the way it is. Also, I guess something else too is at the very end, I could have probably put armor corrosive on Darius and then guaranteed a KO instead of taking like 2 extra turns or so. But it was very close either way, so it's fine. It is what it is. I guess something else I could have done is on the turn when I collected him, I could have attacked instead to raise his attack, to raise his threshold even higher for the collect. But yeah, it is what it is. It's not that big a deal. Okay, that was it for me. Thank you for anyone who tuned in, and I hope that was enjoyable. And I will probably do a few more practices this week sometime. I'm not sure when, but okay. That was all. I don't really have anyone to raid, so unless there's any suggestions for anyone to raid, I will just log off. Thank you, Kitty. You two have a good night. Alright, and I guess if there's no suggestions for people to raid, I wonder if there's any just small time streamers I could just raid. I don't recognize anyone though. Oh well. Yeah, thank you, Blind Eye. You two have a good night. Alright, I'm out. Thank you all for tuning in, and take care. Bye.